Hello, and it's awesome to have you with us for another 30 minutes of Culture Mosaic. First off, we'll dive right into the festivities of Ede people in the Central Highlands. Then we'll sit down for a chat with an American veteran to discover his reconciliation artworks. And after that, it's a time to get energized with some skateboarding as we take to the streets of Vietnam to hang out with the homies. So, are you keen? Let's rock and roll. Ede festivities in Central Highlands and cultural beauty. Then meet an American veteran and discover his artistic effort of reconciliation. And later on, time to chillax with the homies and enjoy some skateboarding shenanigans. The awarding ceremony for the 12th Devotion Music Awards took place in Ho Chi Minh City on Tuesday, where they announced the winners of 9 prize titles. New Phước Thịnh won votes over Ha Anh Tuấn, Hồ Ngọc Hà, Đông Nhi and Trần Thu Hà to become the best singer of the year. Young musician Khắc Hưng was the winner of 2 Devotion Awards, Best Music Producer and Best Composer of the Year. The Best Song of the Year award went to Lê Thiện Hiếu, while Hoàng Rob was named Best New Artist of the Year. It was the first time for both winners to be nominated for their respective awards. Meanwhile, the Album of the Year award went to Bản Nguyên Album by Ha Chun. Sing My Song was the Best Television Music Show, and Best Live Music Show award went to Đôi Bàn Tay Thắp Lửa by the late singer, musician Trần Lập. A concert to celebrate songwriter Nguyễn Ánh Nine, a renowned Vietnamese songwriter and pianist, was held in Hanoi last weekend. The show, titled Buồn ơi, Chào Mi, featured some of his unforgettable songs such as Kỷ niệm, otherwise known as Memories, and Tình khúc chiều mưa, otherwise known as Love Songs on a Rainy Afternoon, among others. Musicians Nguyễn Quang will be told the story of his father's musical career through a performance at the Hanoi Opera House, where his father held his first and also last live show 2 years ago. Family love has always been an inspiration for many artists. Florian Nguyen, a French-Vietnamese artist, has come to Vietnam to learn more about his origins. He's working on an art concept on restoring memories with an exhibition titled The Gesture of Memories. His work addresses the issue of the transmission of family memories, and it has been praised by critics and gallery goers alike.
Each activity, each facial expression in these dances tell a sad story by using body language. They are Florian Nguyen's first friends when he came to Vietnam, helping him to understand the culture and people here.
I asked my friends, who are also the dancers, about their most memorable memories of their grandparents, no matter whether it was sad or happy story. I recorded it and used the recording as background music, so I can easily feel their emotions about their families and deliver it through my drawings.
The French-Vietnamese artist moved to Ho Chi Minh City in 2016, where he developed a visual art project consisting mainly of works drawn in black and white and installations. Before, his drawings were based on his grandmother's stories about Vietnam. However, he is now able to draw from his personal experiences. Many people have visited the exhibition to send their congratulations to Florian, including French-born Vietnamese. Florian's project has become a bridge connecting people who have similar origins.
I'm also a French-born Vietnamese. It's such a blessing that we can work together. I met him in Paris last June, but not until he came to Ho Chi Minh City that we can actually work on the project. His idea is amazing, and we have been working well so far.
Black and white are the 2 main colors in every work of Florian, and for him, the 2 colors stand out the most, standing next to each other, like the way he feels proud of his origin.
Last weekend at the Vietnam Youth Theatre, street dance fans got the chance to watch the impressive moves of dancers from around the region at Dance Dance Asia. The programme was initiated by the Japan Foundation Centre for Cultural Exchange in Vietnam in 2015. About 20 dancers and choreographers from 7 different countries and territories in Asia practiced and brainstormed for their performances for weeks. They put movements across the borders of language and culture and turned into an amazing fusion of art, skill and music. Aside from Hanoi, these young dancers and choreographers also performed in Tokyo last December. They will be performing in the Philippines this weekend. Now we have some news for fashion lovers as the Vietnam International Fashion Week Spring Summer 2017 opened in Ho Chi Minh City on April 25th. The opening ceremony featured new collections by Xuân Ut Couture from France, Betty Tran from Australia and Trung Thành Phong from Vietnam. During the week, fashion lovers will have a chance to view nearly 20 collections by more than 20 international and domestic designers, including from France, Australia, Portugal, South Korea, Thailand and Israel. The event also provides opportunities for Vietnamese and international designers to meet, discuss and introduce their latest collections. Vietnam's Central Highlands are famous for their beautiful untouched forest, waterfalls and spectacular scenery. However, its rich culture is no less beautiful than the landscape. The large number of ethnic groups in the Highlands are all contributing to a diverse picture of cultural extravaganzas. Therefore, this week's edition of Culture and Lifestyle will take us to the festivities of Ede people and learn more about their customs.
Cư Mường A, a peaceful and beautiful district in the Central Highlands province of Đắk Lắk. But today, villagers here, mostly people from the ethnic Ede group, are busy participating in the biggest festival held ever. What makes everyone even more excited is the presence of a foreigner. Egbert Velman, an expat from Holland, working and living in Vietnam, who fell in love for the country's unique beauty and culture. Among many activities including rice pounding, carving statue, and weaving, the man is amazed at the way Ede women turns these colorful threads into their traditional costumes.
If you look at how long it takes, she just told me that it takes 3 weeks to only complete 2.5 meters. So just imagine that they are just working on just a simple fabric as it seems for weeks to complete. It really takes a lot of precision and artful skills to complete this beautiful artwork. I love the colors. As you can see, the beautiful pink, green, white, yellow combinations. Very, very colorful and beautiful.
The unexpected cultural festival that Egbert joined in by chance has helped him feel connected to the locals and continue his trip to learn more about the local lifestyle. The Central Highlands are famous for their coffee. From farm to table, local people here have their own recipe to make coffee, and for a coffee lover like Egbert, he would never miss a chance to enjoy such a perfect cup of coffee. The smell of coffee flour brought him to a local family, where he learned the process to serve himself a cup of coffee. The first step is to roast the coffee beans.
Bà ơi, chào mừng lắm. Có được không?
Dạ, tất nhiên.
Bà ơi, bà, lắm. You know, I'm not really sure if I am preparing the coffee beans in a good way, so I gave the stick back to Ba, because she knows really well how to control the fire. Yes, you got to be careful not to have a fire too strong, otherwise you will burn the beans too much. And secondly, you got to stir in a certain way to make sure that each bean will be perfectly roasted and burnt.
With the help of Egbert, the coffee beans are now ready for grinding before being served.
I've just been told by Ba that my technique is not the perfect one, to get the good ground coffee, we need to lift up the stick and then press it down like this. This is the perfect technique Ba just told me.
His hard work paid off. The moment that he has been waiting for finally came. Coffee time with Central Highlanders in their traditional longhouse. A kind of experience that not everyone has the chance to try.
Flavor is very strong, so you get a very bitter aftertaste, almost in your throat, and that's something that I do notice, that it's quite a strong cup of coffee that they drink here. But for the rest, for me, my liking, it's wonderful. This is the way how I love to drink coffee. Strong, bitter, with a good aftertaste. I feel like in touch with them. They have a strong cultural base that I liked. I feel like I'm almost like in a different country, and that's a good thing. So you can see their different fashion, they have their different languages, they have their different music, and I love the fact that you see the diversity of the Central Highlands.
You're tuning into Culture Mosaic, our weekly journal featuring the rich cultural diversity of the nation. We hope to become a bridge that connects artists and their work to our viewers out there. So you want to continue the journey through various culture scenes in Vietnam? We have a lot more in this week's installment coming up for you in just a moment. Over 4 decades have passed since the end of the American War in Vietnam. The reconciliation process between nations once on opposite sides of the battlefield have continued throughout the years on many levels, whether it be the lifting of a trade embargo, normalized diplomacy or resolving war consequences together. In our On the Mic today, reporter Thuy Dương meets with an American veteran who has dedicated the past 3 decades to this reconciliation process, bringing the peoples of Vietnam and the US closer through a different realm, and that is art.
David Thomas was a combat engineer and artist for the US Army in Pleiku, Vietnam from 1968 to 1969. In 1987, he returned to Vietnam for the first time and subsequently founded what would become known as the Indo-China Arts Partnership. IAP is now in its 30 years of operation, promoting arts and cultural exchange between the US and Vietnam. In 2000, he was awarded the Vietnam Art Medal by the government of Vietnam in recognition of its contributions to the art scene.
Hello, Mr. Thomas. Thank you very much for joining us here on the mic. Can you please first share with us your feelings on the eve of the 30th anniversary of IAP?
It feels good. I never thought that it would last 30 years. I began it to do one exhibit in 1988, 87, 88, and it just grew and grew and grew and grew. So I'm very happy and excited that it lasted 30 years, and it will last more than 30 years. It's very exciting.
So what do you think has kept you motivated over the years to keep IAP running for so long?
The friendships that I developed here in doing that initial exhibit, I just wanted to keep coming back and working with those people. In the beginning, to fight against U.S. policy that I was very opposed to the trade embargo and the lack of diplomatic relations. I figured I could fill in a little bit there and fight against that policy. And then as that policy changed, I had more friends and more artists and more projects that people said, could you help us do this or do that? And I can't say no to Vietnamese friends, so it just grew.
What are your thoughts on the friendship that you have formed with the many Vietnamese artists over the years?
It's probably the greatest benefit of doing the work that I do. Our children have grown up with Vietnamese living in our house, sometimes a few days, sometimes a few weeks, and even a few months. It really enriches our lives. It's changed our lives in a very positive way. It's hard to imagine our house without Vietnamese friends.
Today, the U.S. Embassy is hosting a get-together to celebrate IAP's 30-year anniversary.
Part of what IAP has done for all these years, I think, is promote reconciliation between our peoples. And our governments are reconciled, but there's still a process of reconciliation that's going on between our people. And I really think the arts contribute a great deal to that.
It is through IAP that many artists present here have been sponsored to promote their artworks and take up arts residencies in the U.S.
Tôi cũng là một nghệ sĩ được vinh dự sang Mỹ là với tư cách là sinh viên trao đổi với một trường nghệ thuật bên Mỹ dưới cái sự tài trợ và tổ chức của IAP. Sau đó thì tôi cũng chứng kiến là IAP đã hỗ trợ rất là nhiều nghệ sĩ hàng năm và tôi nhận thấy đấy là một cái sự hỗ trợ vô cùng tuyệt vời, tạo điều kiện cho các nghệ sĩ gặp gỡ nhau và tìm hiểu cũng như là phát triển tất cả những cái ý tưởng mới.
At the event, David Thomas introduces two young Vietnamese to whom he has passed on IAP's leadership.
So in the future, we want to extend our program. Although we are very focused on Vietnamese artists and supporting them, we want to connect them with the artists in the Southeast Asia region. So hopefully we have a more active, dynamic interaction between artists in the region.
Cái hoạt động trao đổi nó sẽ phát triển thành nhiều hình thức khác nhau. Nó không chỉ là nghệ sĩ sáng tạo, nó là những cái cộng hưởng của sáng tạo như là tri thức, là văn hóa, là học thuật. Tự cái mạng lưới IAP sẽ thành một cộng đồng mà họ trao đổi lẫn nhau.
Throughout its years of operation, IAP has organized exhibitions including As Seen by Both Sides, American and Vietnamese artists Look at the War, and An Ocean Apart, contemporary art from the United States and Vietnam.
One of the activities marking the 30th year anniversary of IAP is the introduction of a book called Sketches from Saigon. Can you tell us more about this book and the artist behind it?
Le Lam is a very special artist who spent most of his life documenting the American War and the French War. The drawings that I was particularly interested in were the American War. It's an honor just to know him. And it's a great honor to be able to design a book, and we hope to publish the book of just 100 sketches of his work that I've selected from thousands of beautiful, beautiful drawings.
These are some of the artworks of veteran artist Le Lam in Le Lam Sketches from the South. IAP introduced the book to the public in an event in late March 2017. Few know that it was the chance encounter between Le Lam and David Thomas over a year ago that led to this compilation. Both artists and veterans on opposite sides of the same war, the two men found a connection beyond any language barrier.
Tôi đối với David thì nói chuyện rất thân mật và coi như là anh em, như là đã biết từ lâu. Mà tôi mong rằng cái tình cảm này nó phát triển mạnh, không phải chỉ ở đây mà nó sẽ phát triển sang bên Mỹ.
David visits Le Lam along with his wife Jean Thomas. The 86-year-old Le Lam insists on hand-sketching Jean and David as a lasting memoir of their friendship.
I have seen many of Le Lam's works. They're very beautiful. He does very delicate work. And I was surprised and honored that he wanted to do a portrait of me. It's lovely. It's very lovely.
Working with Le Lam, David Thomas chose around 100 sketches for the book.
Hai người cựu chiến binh nhưng lại là hai họa sĩ, cho nên là cùng có một cái sự đồng điệu ở trong cái tác phẩm, trong cái hình tượng nghệ thuật. Có những cái tình cảm như thế của hai cái đất nước rất xa xôi, thì tôi nghĩ rằng là cái tình cảm của hai dân tộc sẽ dần dần sẽ xích lại gần nhau hơn và hiểu nhau.
IAP is continuing to raise funds in order to publish the book Le Lam Sketches from the South more widely in both Vietnam and the US.
Now, you started out the IAP project with the hope to bring Vietnam and the United States closer together. Where do you see the role of art in continuing this reconciliation between the two nations?
In terms of Vietnam and America, there's still a lot of need to reconcile. Even though we do have normal relations and a lot of trade going on, we don't necessarily know each other the way we should know each other. In my opinion, the best way to do that is through the arts. I think that's a central role for art. But I'd like to see the State Department bring back the Art in the Embassy program, bring back more art exchange programs, provide funding for art exchange programs. I hope that that can grow and grow and grow, and we'll be part of it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thomas, for joining us and sharing your stories. We wish you all the best of luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
A young American-born Vietnamese skater recently opened a workshop in Hanoi to share the love for skateboarding with young people here. With various activities including pop-up shows, video screenings and art seminars, the workshop has helped to explore skateboarding culture and its impact on creativity, identity, race and lifestyle.
This is part of a video shown in a workshop by Gia Liu, a Vietnamese American. The video portrays skateboarding in Vietnam through his eyes, inspired by skate videos of the 1980s.
I just wanted to do something sort of, I'd like to think, hopefully it's inspirational. An adult that has sort of lived life pretty unconventionally, not typical like go to college and do the typical 9-to-5 type job, just more live a little more creative and freely and sort of also be successful.
It's cool to see an American Vietnamese person bringing a little bit of the American culture to Vietnam. I imagine a very big effort for him to move from America to come back here and to do that, to bring his idea of art and skateboarding culture to Vietnam.
Liu has been skateboarding for almost 28 years now, since he was a kid. While other Vietnamese Americans like him have tried to fit in American culture and become part of it, Liu found it hard to do so. It was skateboarding that inspired him and helped him find his identity.
It sort of taught me about like everything I love. It tapped into my creativity, and then it tapped into, you know, the special things in me, the unique things that makes me different from the average person.
In the US, skateboarding is a subculture that has influenced many fields of society, such as public construction and fashion. People can skateboard on the street. In Vietnam, due to the lack of facilities, skateboarding can only take place in several parks and playgrounds.
I think in Vietnam, people sort of associate it with little kids, but it's definitely not just little kids, you know. I have old friends, 30s, 40s, everyone skateboards, it's normal. It's like a lifestyle, it's not really like a sport. It's more like that's who you are, and you interact and connect with friends.
By sharing with the Vietnamese and foreign friends his passion for skateboarding, Liu hopes the culture of skateboarding can be fostered in Vietnam. He is is also working on a project named Green to show his love for art and foster the development of skateboarding culture in Vietnam.
And that is the end of our programme. If you would like to provide feedback or comment on anything here on Culture Mosaic, please feel free to write us at vtvinternational@vtv.vn and make sure to include your name and address. You can also log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go for more of our programmes. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode of Culture Mosaic. Goodbye for now.